They lied to you about money, not in the way you think. The lie is not that wealth is hard to get. The lie is that it requires you to become someone you are not. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But the world tells you the opposite. It tells you to wear a mask, to pretend, to be fake until you make it. I'm going to show you something different today, something that will feel like ice water on your face. Getting rich is not about becoming a different person. It is about removing the layers of nonsense that are covering your natural power. You already have everything you need. You just cannot see it because you are buried under other people's rules. Let me start with a simple question. Why do you want money? Stop and actually think about it. Most people cannot answer this honestly. They say things like freedom or security. But dig deeper. What you really want is the feeling that you matter, that your life has weight, that you are not just a cog in someone else's machine. Nietzsche understood this completely. He said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow." Your poverty is not about money. It is about meaning. You are broke because you are living someone else's why. You are working to build someone else's dream. And deep down, your soul knows it. That knowing is killing you slowly. Here is the truth they do not want you to see. Wealth is a side effect, is not the goal. It is what happens when you align your actions with your actual nature. Think of a river. Does the river try to flow? Does it wake up and decide to push water downhill? No. It flows because that is what rivers do. You are the same. You have a natural direction, a natural genius. But you have been taught to dam it up, to redirect it into someone else's channel. Your job right now is probably that, damn. You spend 8 hours a day going against your nature. Then you wonder why you are exhausted and broke. Let me tell you about two men. Both are 30 years old. Both are smart. Both work hard. Man A wakes up every day and goes to a job he hates. He is good at it. He gets promotions. He makes decent money. But every Sunday night, his stomach hurts. He dreads Monday. He lives for Friday. This is most of you watching right now. Man B wakes up every day and works on something he built. Some days he makes nothing. Some days he makes thousands, but he never checks the clock. He never counts down to the weekend. Time disappears when he works. Which man do you think will be wealthy in 10 years? The answer is obvious. But here's what is not obvious. Man B is not special. He just stopped lying to himself. Jung said something that should shake you awake. He said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Why is that terrifying? Because when you accept yourself completely, you can nitrogen monoxide longer hide behind excuses. You can nitrogen monoxide longer blame the economy or your boss or your parents. You have to look at the mirror and admit the truth. You are choosing this. Every single day, you are choosing to stay small, to stay safe, to stay poor. And that choice is killing the part of you that could be great. Now, I know what you are thinking. This sounds like motivational garbage, like I am about to tell you to follow your passion and the money will come. I am not. Following your passion is terrible advice. For most people, most people's passions are hobbies. They are entertainment. They are not valuable to anyone else. Here is the real secret. You do not follow your passion. You follow the intersection, place where what you are naturally good at meets what people desperately need. Intersection is your gold mine, and you have been walking past it your entire life because you were taught to ignore your nature. Let me give you an example. There is a man named Marcus. Marcus hated his corporate job. Everyone told him to be grateful. Good salary, good benefits, stable. But Marcus had a weird skill. He could explain complicated things in simple ways. At work, people always asked him to break down the technical stuff. He did IT without thinking. IT was natural to him. One day, Marcus started a YouTube channel. He explained software to beginners. He made nitrogen monoxide money for 8 months. His friends called him stupid. His family worried. Then month 9 happened. The company found his videos. They hired him to make training content. He charged them more in one project than he made in 3 months at his job. 2 years later, Marcus runs a content agency. He makes 7 figures. He works 4 hours a day. What changed? He stopped fighting his nature. He found the intersection. Here's what the gurus will not tell you. Hardest part of getting rich is not the strategy. IT is not the tactics. IT is facing yourself. Really facing yourself. Most people cannot do IT. They would rather blame the world than look in the mirror. Jung called this the shadow. The parts of yourself you refuse to see. Your shadow contains everything. Your weakness, yes, but also your power. The things you are ashamed of. The things you hide. Those things are often your greatest gifts in disguise. The person who is too blunt, they could be an incredible negotiator. The person who is too obsessive, they could build something remarkable. But you have to look. You have to stop running. Robert Greene wrote, "The greatest power you have is the power over your own mind. Not over others, over yourself. When you control your mind, you control your reality. Right now, your mind is controlled by fear. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of being seen. That fear is expensive. IT is costing you everything. Every day you do not start as the day you stay poor. Not just financially, spiritually, emotionally. You are poor in the parts that matter most. And money will not fix that. Only truth will. So here's where we start. Not with tactics. Not with some get-rich scheme. We start with a question. Who are you really? Not who you pretend to be at work. Not who your parents wanted you to be. Who are you when nitrogen monoxide one is watching? What do you think about? What do you notice that others miss? What makes you angry? What makes time disappear? These questions are not soft. They are the hardest questions you will ever answer. But on the other side of them is everything you want. Freedom, wealth, meaning, power. Not power over others, power over your own life. I'm going to show you exactly how to find that intersection. How to turn your nature into money. How to build a machine that works while you sleep. But first, you have to make a choice. Are you going to keep lying to yourself, or are you ready to see the truth? Most people will click away right here. They will go back to their comfortable prison. If you are still watching, it means something in you knows. You were not built for this life you are living. You were built for something else. Stay with me. The next 5 minutes will show you the exact pattern. The pattern every wealthy person follows. Whether they know it or not, let me show you the pattern. The pattern that separates the wealthy from the broke. IT is so simple that you will be angry when you see IT. Will think I am lying. But I promise you, every single person who has built real wealth has followed this pattern. They might not know they followed IT, but they did. Jung called IT individuation, the process of becoming your complete self. In money terms, IT looks like this. 3 stages. Only 3. Master these and wealth becomes inevitable. Stage 1 is what I call the awakening. This is where you realize you have been asleep. You look around at your life and something clicks. You see that? You are trading your finite time for money that disappears. You see that you are building someone else's dream. See that the retirement plan is a trap. 30 years of your life for a pension that might not exist. This awakening is painful. Most people run from IT. They numb themselves with Netflix and alcohol and shopping. They turn up the volume on the distractions. But you cannot. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Plato talked about this in the cave allegory. The man who sees the light cannot go back to watching shadows. You are that man now. The awakening comes with a choice. You can accept what you saw and do nothing. Most people choose this. They complain but never move. They become bitter. They blame the system. They die with regret. Oh, you can accept what you saw and decide to act. This is the narrow path. Epictetus said, "IT is not what happens to you, but how you react to IT that matters. Your reaction to the awakening determines everything. Will you be a victim or a builder? The world does not care which one you choose, but your bank account will." Stage 2 is the skill phase. This is where most people fail, not because they are not smart, but because they do not commit. They dabble. They try 10 things for 10 days each. They chase shiny objects. They watch YouTube videos about dropshipping and crypto and real estate and AI. They learn nothing deeply. Here is the truth. Wealth requires depth, not width. You must pick one valuable skill and go so deep that you become rare. Machiavelli said, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. But before you have men around you, you must become the man others want around them. You do that through skill. What skills should you pick? Here's the formula. IT must be something the market pays well for. IT must be something you can tolerate doing for thousands of hours. Notice I did not say love. Love comes later. Tolerance comes first. And IT must be something that compounds. A skill that gets more valuable the longer you do it. Software, engineering fits. Writing fits. Sales fits. Marketing fits. Design fits. These skills pay 6 figures, and they get better with time. Digging ditches does not fit. IT pays minimum wage and your body breaks down. Choose wisely. This choice will determine your next decade. Once you pick the skill, you enter the dark forest. This is what I call the period between month 3 and 18. You are learning, but you are not earning. You are putting in hours, but seeing nitrogen monoxide results. Your friends think you are crazy. Your family asks when you will get a real job. This is where 90% of people quit. They give up right before the breakthrough. Jordan Peterson talks about this. He says, "You are going to pay a price for every bloody thing you do and everything you do not do. You do not get to choose not to pay a price. You get to choose which poison you are going to take. The poison of regret or the poison of discipline. Pick one. Here is what nobody tells you about the dark forest. IT is supposed to be dark. IT is supposed to be hard. That is the filter. If IT was easy, everyone would do IT. And if everyone did IT, IT would not pay well. The difficulty is what creates the value. Nietzsche said, "That which does not kill me makes me stronger." The dark forest does not kill you. It builds you. Every hour you spend learning, while others are scrolling, is an hour you are separating yourself from the pack. You are becoming rare. And rare is expensive. Around month 18, something shifts. You are not a beginner anymore. You are competent. People start to notice. You get your first real client, or your first real project. You charge more than you ever thought you could. And they pay IT. WHY, because you've solved a real problem. You removed real pain. This is the bridge. The moment when your skill starts to generate money. For most people, this is the end goal. They celebrate, they relax, they think they made IT, but this is actually just the beginning. This is where stage 3 starts. Stage 3 is leverage. This is where you stop trading time for money and start building systems. Marcus Aurelius sighed. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Leverage is how you apply that power. There are 3 types of leverage you must understand: labor, capital, and media. Labor leverage is hiring people. You do the work once. You train someone. They do it forever. You keep a percentage. This is how businesses scale. One person can only work so many hours. 10 people can work 10 times as many. You take a cut from all of them. Capital leverage is using money to make money. This sounds obvious, but most people never do it. They make money and they spend IT. The wealthy make money and they invest it. They buy assets, real estate, stocks, businesses. These assets generate passive income, money that comes in while you sleep. The first 100,000 is the hardest. After that, compound interest does the heavy lifting. Einstein called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. He was right. 100,000 invested at 8% becomes 200,000 in 9 years without you touching IT. That is the power of capital leverage. But the most important leverage for you right now is media leverage. This is the game changer. This is code, content, and systems. You build something once, and it pays you forever. This video I am making right now. I make IT once, but thousands of people will watch IT. Some will join the channel. Some will buy products. The work is done. The payment continues. This is internet leverage. 20 years ago, you needed a factory to have leverage. Today, you need a laptop. The barrier to entry has never been lower, but most people still do not do ITWHY. Fear. Fear of judgment. Fear of failure. Fear of being seen. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was a graphic designer. She worked for an agency. Good job, okay pay. But she was trading hours for dollars. Then she started posting design tips on Instagram. Just simple posts. 5 tips for better logos. How to choose fonts. Beginner stuff. She did this for 6 months. Nothing happened. Month 7, one post went viral. 20,000 likes. Her followers jumped. Brands started reaching out. She raised her rates. Then she created a design course. $50. Sold 300 copies in the first month. $15,000 for work she did once. That is media leverage. Sarah still designs, but now she does IT on her terms. She works 20 hours a week and makes triple what she made at the agency. This is the pattern. Awakening. Skill. Leverage. It is not complicated. IT is not hidden. IT is just hard. Hard because IT requires you to face yourself. Hard because IT requires patience. Hard because IT requires you to keep going when everyone thinks you are stupid. But simple, yes. Absolutely simple. You pick a skill. You master IT. You use IT to build leverage. That is 3 steps. Most people never start step 1. Of the people who start, 90% quit before step 2. Of the people who finish step 2, most never build step 3. Be the 1% who finishes all 3. Now I need to tell you about the invisible enemy. The thing that will sabotage you even when you know the pattern. Carl Jung called it the shadow self. The part of you that wants to stay comfortable. The part that whispers, "This is too hard. You are not smart enough. People will laugh at you." This voice sounds like protection. Sounds like wisdom, but it is a liar. It is the voice of your fear wearing a mask. And if you listen to IT, you will die with your gifts still inside you. Freud said, Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Your unexpressed potential is the same. If you do not use IT will rot inside you. IT will turn into bitterness and regret. Let me explain how the shadow keeps you poor. IT uses 3 weapons: rationalization, distraction, and self-sabotage. Rationalization is when you create logical reasons for your fear. Now is not the right time. The market is too saturated. I need more training. First, these sound smart, but they're excuses. There is never a perfect time. The market is always competitive. You will never feel ready. These are just your shadow protecting you from the discomfort of growth. Schopenhauer said, "Talent hits a target nitrogen monoxide one else can hit. Genius hits a target nitrogen monoxide one else can see." Your shadow convinces you the target does not exist. That way, you never have to aim. Distraction is the second weapon. You know you should be working on your skill, building your leverage, but instead, you scroll. You watch videos about success instead of creating IT. You research for months, but never execute. You are busy, but not productive. This is intentional. Your shadow knows that if you actually focus, you might succeed. And success means change. Change means leaving behind the identity you know. Even if that identity is broke and miserable, IT is familiar. The shadow prefers familiar pain over unknown pleasure. IT will keep you distracted until you die. Self-sabotage is the most vicious weapon. This is when you start to succeed and then you destroy IT. You get your first big client and you miss the deadline. You build an audience and then you post something that alienates them. You make progress and then you celebrate by quitting for a month. This is not bad luck. This is your shadow pulling you back to baseline, back to what it knows. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, IT will direct your life and you will call it fate." Your self-sabotage is not fate. It is your unconscious fear of becoming powerful. Because power means responsibility, and responsibility is heavy. So how do you beat the shadow? You do not. You cannot kill it. You integrate it. You bring it into the light. Here is how. First, you name IT. When you hear that voice saying you are not ready, you say out loud, "That is my shadow." That is fear talking. Just naming it reduces its power. Second, you acknowledge what IT is trying to protect you from. Your shadow is not evil. It is scared. IT thinks that if you try and fail, you will be destroyed. So you'll thank. You say, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I am safe. I can handle failure." This sounds silly, but it works. Third, you act anyway. You feel the fear and you do it. The shadow loses power every time you move, despite it. Let me tell you about David. David wanted to start a business. He had the idea. He had the skill. But every time he sat down to start, it felt paralyzed. He would open his laptop and suddenly remember. He needed to clean the kitchen, or check his email, or research more. 6 months passed. Nothing happened. Then David learned about the shadow. He realized he was afraid. Afraid that if he started and failed, IT would confirm what he secretly believed, that he was not good enough. So he started talking to his fear. Every morning, he would write, "I am afraid I will fail. And that is okay. I will try anyway." Then he would work for 1 hour. Just one. Nitrogen monoxide. Matter how he felt. After 30 days, the fear was still there, but it was quieter. After 90 days, he had built a prototype. After 6 months, he had customers. The shadow did not disappear, but David stopped letting IT drive. This brings me to something controversial. The role of morality in wealth. Most people think you have to be ruthless to get rich, that you have to step on people, lie, cheat, manipulate. This is nonsense. But IT is dangerous. Nonsense, because it gives you an excuse. You tell yourself, I am not willing to be evil, so I cannot be rich. This is your shadow talking. It is protecting you from trying by making wealth immoral. Machiavelli never said be evil. He said be effective. There is a difference. Being effective means you do not let other people's opinions stop you. It means you negotiate hard. IT means you fire people who are not performing. IT means you charge what you're worth even if people complain. But effectiveness is not cruelty. You can be kind and wealthy. In fact, the wealthiest people I know are generous. Not because they are saints, but because they understand reciprocity. Robert Greene said, the key to power is the ability to judge who is best able to further your interests in all situations. Notice, he did not say exploit. He said further your interests. You want people around you who are capable and loyal. You get that by being valuable to them first. By helping them win. This is not morality. This is strategy. When you make other people successful, they want to work with you. They refer you. They promote you. Kindness is profitable. Here's the real moral question. Is IT moral to stay small when you have gifts that could help people? Is it moral to die with your potential locked inside you because you were too afraid to try? I do not think so. Nietzsche said, he who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. Your why cannot be just money. Money is empty. Your why has to be impact. The people you will help. The problems you will solve. The family you will provide for. When your why is bigger than you, the shadow loses. IT cannot compete with purpose. Let me give you a framework. Every morning, ask yourself 3 questions. What is one thing I can do today that my future self will thank me for? What is one fear I can face today? What is one person I can help today? These 3 questions will override your shadow. The first question creates momentum. The second question builds courage. The third question builds relationships. Do this for 1 year and your life will be unrecognizable. Not because the questions are magic, but because they force you to act. And action is the only thing that creates change. Now, most people will hear this and do nothing. They will nod along. They will feel inspired for an hour. Then they will go back to scrolling. Back to complaining. Back to waiting for someone to save them. If that is you, I am not judging, but I am not going to lie to you either. You will stay exactly where you are. 5 years from now, you will be having the same conversations, the same struggles, the same regrets. Because information without action is just entertainment. You have been entertained enough. The question is, are you ready to build? Or are you just here to watch other people do it? Marcus Aurelius sighed. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. You are running out of time. Every day that passes is a day you do not get back. Every year you spend in a job you hate is a year you lost. You cannot get IT back. Nitrogen monoxide amount of money will buy you more time. This is IT, this life. Right now, are you going to spend it being afraid? Or are you going to spend it building something that matters? The choice is yours. But choose quickly. The world is moving, with or without you. Let me show you the final piece. The piece that ties everything together. You have the pattern. Awakening, skill, leverage. You understand the shadow. You know how to fight IT. But there is one more thing. The thing that separates the people who build wealth from the people who just survive. IT is what Jung called synchronicity. The alignment between your inner world and your outer world. When these two things match, money flows naturally. When they do not, you struggle forever. Let me explain what this means in practical terms. Your inner world is your beliefs about yourself. What you think you deserve, what you think you are capable of, what you think is possible for someone like you. Most people have an inner world that is small. They see themselves as employees, as people who follow orders, as people who play it safe. This is not their fault. This is what they were taught. School taught you to sit still and memorize, to raise your hand before speaking, to wait for permission. Your parents taught you to be grateful for stability, to not rock the boat, to take the safe path. Society taught you that wanting more is greedy, that ambition is selfish, that you should be happy with what you have. All of this programming creates a small inner world. And here's the problem. Your outer world will always match your inner world. If you see yourself as small, you will create a small life, small income, small impact, small relationships. You cannot outturn yourself. This is why lottery winners go broke. Their outer world changed, but their inner world stayed the same. They got millions of dollars, but they still saw themselves as poor. So they spent IT all. They gave it away. They made bad investments. Within a few years, they were back to broke, because broke was their identity. The money was just a temporary visitor. So how do you change your inner world? You cannot just think positive thoughts. You cannot just repeat affirmations in the mirror. Your subconscious is too smart for that. Knows when you are lying. Carl Jung said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." You need a real encounter, a real transformation. Here is how you do it. You put yourself in situations that force you to expand. You take risks that scare you. You have conversations that make you uncomfortable. You build things that might fail. Every time you do this, your inner world grows a little bigger. Let me give you an example. Tom always saw himself as a middle-class guy. His dad was middle class. His friends were middle class. He made $50,000 a year and thought that was normal. Good even. Then Tom started a side business. Just a small consulting thing. His first client paid him $2,000 for a weekend of work. Tom almost had a panic attack. $2,000 for 2 days. IT felt wrong, like he was stealing. But he took the money. He delivered the work. The client was happy. Something shifted in Tom. He realized he was worth more than he thought. His inner world expanded. Tom raised his rates. He started charging $5,000 per project, then $10,000, then $20,000. Within 2 years, Tom was making more in 1 month than he used to make in a year. But here is the interesting part. The work did not change that much. Tom was doing basically the same thing. What changed was his belief about what he was worth. His inner world expanded to match his outer potential. And once IT did, the money came easily. Not because he worked harder, but because he finally believed he deserved IT. This is what Epictetus meant when he said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." He was not saying be broke and happy. He was saying that when your inner world is abundant, you do not need external validation. You do not need the fancy car to prove you made it. You do not need the big house to feel successful. You are already whole. And ironically, when you are already whole, wealth comes faster. Because you are not chasing IT from a place of lack. You are creating IT from a place of overflow. Now let me talk about time. Everyone says time is money. That is wrong. Time is life. Money is just a tool. You can always make more money. You cannot make more time. The wealthy understand this. They do not optimize for money. They optimize for time. They ask, how can I buy back my time? This is the real game. Not how much money can I make, but how much freedom can I create? Hobbes said, the condition of man is a condition of war of everyone against everyone. But the war is not against other people. It is against time. You are racing against death. Every hour you spend doing something you hate is an hour you lost forever. Here is the framework. There are 4 types of work. First, work that drains you and pays poorly. This is where most people live. Retail jobs, low-skilled labor, tasks anyone can do. If you are here, your only goal is to escape as fast as possible. Learn a skill. Any skill. Get out. Second, work that drains you but pays well. This is the trap of the high-paid employee. Lawyers, doctors, corporate executives. They make great money, but they are miserable. They are trading their soul for a paycheck. This is not freedom. This is expensive slavery. Third, work that energizes you, but pays poorly. This is the artist trap. You love the work, but you are broke. This is better than being drained, but it is not sustainable. You will burn out or give up. The goal is the 4th category. Work that energizes you and pays well. This is the intersection I talked about earlier. This is where your natural gifts meet market demand. This is where you find flow. Time disappears. You would do the work for free, but people pay you a fortune. This is not a fantasy. This is the life of every person who has built real wealth doing what they love. They found their intersection. And they went all in. Plato said, "The greatest wealth is to live content with little." But I disagree. The greatest wealth is to live abundantly doing work that matters. That is the real victory. Let me tell you about Lisa. Lisa was a lawyer. She made $200,000 a year. Everyone thought she was successful. But Lisa was dying inside. She hated the work, the politics, the long hours, the meaningless arguments. She dreamed of quitting, but she had golden handcuffs. The mortgage, the car payment, the lifestyle. Then Lisa had a health scare. Nothing serious, but it woke her up. She realized she was spending her life doing work she hated to buy things she did not need to impress people she did not like. So she made a plan. She cut her expenses in half. She saved aggressively. She started a blog about personal finance. Just for fun. Nitrogen, monoxide, pressure. The blog grew. People loved her honest take on money. She started getting sponsorship offers, then speaking requests, then a book deal. 2 years later, Lisa quit her law job. She now makes $150,000 a year from her blog and her books and her courses. She works 15 hours a week. She travels. She spends time with her kids. She is happier than she has ever been. And here's the kicker. She is helping millions of people take control of their money. Lisa did not just get rich. She got free. And she did it by aligning her inner world with her outer world. She stopped pretending to be someone she was not. She stopped doing work that killed her soul. She found her intersection. This is what I want for you. Not just money, but alignment. Freedom, impact. Life where you wake up excited. Where work does not feel like work. Where you are building something that matters. This is possible. Not someday. Not when you are ready. Now. Right now. You just have to decide. Jung said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." You are not your past. You are not your current situation. You are your next decision. What will you decide? Will you stay in the comfortable prison, or will you step into the unknown and build something real? Here is what I know. 5 years from now, you will arrive. The question is where. If you do nothing, you will arrive at regret. You'll be older, more tired, and still dreaming about what could have been. But if you start today, if you pick your skill, and you commit to the dark forest, and you build your leverage, you will arrive at freedom. You will look back at this moment as the turning point, the day everything changed. Not because you got lucky, not because someone saved you, but because you saved yourself. Because you finally stopped waiting and started building. The wealthy are not special. They are not smarter than you. They are not luckier than you. They just made a different choice. They chose to bet on themselves. They chose to face their fear. They chose to build even when it was hard. And now they are free. You can join them. The door is open, but you have to walk through. Nobody can do that for you. This is your life. Your one shot. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to watch from the sidelines? Or are you going to play? The game is already happening. With or without you. I hope you choose to play. Because the world needs what you have inside you. It needs your gifts, your perspective, your work. Do not take it to the grave. Give IT to US. Build IT. Share IT. Get paid for IT. That is how you win. That is how you get rich. Not just in money, but in meaning, in freedom, in life. Now go build.